Hello and welcome to the Temple of Enlightenment International Spiritual Center. My name is Issachar Bey and I am your host. I am the founder of the Temple of Enlightenment, and we are exceptionally glad and we welcome you today to our lecture. We are here at the same place, same time every week. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. I also want to also thank all of you for your support, your consistency in helping us to spread the word about our channel and help us to get more viewers, more subscribers. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and hit the like button. We are, like as I said, forever grateful for all of your help and support. And we are here to make sure that we assist you in becoming a better version of yourself. We want to go ahead and move into our meditation, our spiritual mind treatment, as we get ready to get into our subject for today. We have a lot to cover. I want to, if you go ahead and close your eyes and get in a quiet position, I want you to inhale abundance and exhale lack. I want you to inhale circulation and exhale stagnation. I want you to inhale divine flow and exhale fear. I declare in the authority of divine law that money is not evil. Money is neutral. It is paper, digits, metal. It carries no morality. But the lack of money, the absence of circulation, the belief of scarcity, that's where evil breeds. And that's where envy begins to boil, where crime is hatched, where oppression takes root, where betrayal gets written into the script. Money is like electricity. It, it can light your home or burn it down. The difference is not the current, it is the consciousness behind the current. Money in the hands of love becomes hospitals, schools, food banks, and freedom. Money in the hands of fear becomes prisons, wars, weapons. So today we begin this deep dive into the mystery of money. I declare I am source, I am circulation, I am abundance. I am not waiting on money. Money is waiting on me. Feel that. Doesn't doesn't don't just think that. Let it vibrate in your bones. Because by the time we finish this lecture, your entire relationship with money, with abundance, with circulation will be rewritten. You will never again look at money as master. You will look at it and see it as servant, as tool, as current in the river of your divine becoming. And so it is, and so it is. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you. If you're just tuning in, tell us please in the chat what city, what state, what country you're listening from. We want to thank all of you for tapping in and being a part of this lecture with us. We are a over the top joyful for all of your assistance and your presence here today with us. And as we said, please continue to help us by sharing, by letting people know that we're here, same place, same time every week. Today, I want to talk from our subject, our series, 100 Secrets to Mastering the Game of Life. And we are dealing with today the lack of money is the root of all evil, the lack, that word lack. Money is crystallized faith. Money is a symbol. It is nothing more than an agreement in consciousness. Before there was paper money, there was barter. Before there was barter, there was value. Before there was value, there was energy. If If tomorrow the government burned every dollar, deleted every bank account, and crashed every digital wallet, would value disappear? No. Farmers would still grow food, builders would still have skills, thinkers would still have ideas. The real money is not the paper, it is the imagination, the faith, the creativity, the circulation of energy. Money is like a is like blood in the body. Blood must circulate. If blood stops moving, the body dies. If money stops circulating, the economy collapses, relationships crack, families suffer, and nations go to war. When you hoard money out of fear, you create stagnation, and stagnation is the mother of decay. A pond that doesn't flow grows algae, bacteria, and death. Flowing water is fresh, living, nourishing. The same is true with money. It is meant to flow, it is meant to circulate. Now, let's look at this and make this plain. The evil is not in the money. So when I say the lack of money is the root of all evil, what I want you to understand is that the evil is not in the money. The evil is in the lack of money. Lack produces desperation. Desperation produces crime. Look at our neighborhoods. Where does poverty reign? You see death, drugs, violence, because when circulation is cut off, the soul feels suffocated, and suffocated souls fight for air any way they can. The lack of money leads to envy. Envy of our neighbors who have more, envy of our friends who succeed, envy of our family members who thrive. That envy rots the bones and becomes the root of all evil action. If money is energy, then you are not chasing money. You are aligning with circulation. Stop running after paper and start becoming the channel of flow. Money will find you when you are circulating value, ideas, love, and service. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, uh, this is some good stuff. If you look around you, every form of corruption, every system of oppression, every act of betrayal, if you trace it back, you will find scarcity crunching at the root like a serpent in the grass. Consider your neighborhoods where poverty is stick in the air. There are you see look at the supermarkets where there's poverty. They don't get the best products, the best produce. If you go to the rich neighborhoods, you see that they have the best produce, the best of everything, right? Um, we have to understand the concept of what this means. Even in relationships, scarcity shows up. Why does jealousy exist? Scarcity of self worth. Why does betrayal happen? Scarcity of trust. Why does family fight over inheritance? Scarcity of money. A deeper scarcity of love. Have you ever noticed when families gather for funerals, money arguments erupt, siblings fighting, cousins bickering, children angry, not because the money is so much, but because the fear or lack magnifies everything. Scarcity makes people see enemies where there are brothers. Scarcity turns kin into competitors. So when you see that, We have to now look at the comparison here between the law of scarcity and the law of supply. Scarcity breeds crime, supply breeds peace. Scarcity breeds envy, supply breeds joy. Scarcity breeds opposition and oppression. Supply breeds liberation. One person operating in scarcity can poison a whole household. One politician operating in scarcity can poison a whole nation. One business operating in scarcity can poison an entire economy. But the reverse is also true. One person operating in abundance can shift a whole family. One community practicing circulation can break generational curses. So we got to rewrite the script. We got to refuse scarcity, refuse to participate in the lie. When the world screams not enough, we declare, I live in divine surplus. When the bank screams debt, you declare, I circulate in divine supply. When the politician screams fear, you declare, I move in fearless abundance. You cannot serve both scarcity and spirit. Choose today who you will serve. If you will serve scarcity, you will find evil growing at your roots. If you serve abundance, you will find heaven manifesting in your midst. Consciousness is our only reality. And consciousness is how we thrive. Consciousness is how we elevate, how we move in life. I believe that abundance and prosperity are two sides of the same coin. And so when we look at poverty, poverty to me, as I said, is consciousness, is a mindset. You see, money itself does not decide your life. What decides your life is the consciousness you bring to money. Your inner script writes your outer world. There are two blueprints operating in humanity. One blueprint says there is always more. There is abundance. There is an abundant consciousness. The other says there is never enough. That is a poverty consciousness. Abundant thinkers multiply. Poverty thinkers divide. Abundant thinkers create. Poverty thinkers consume. Abundant thinkers see opportunity. Poverty thinkers see obstacles. Two people can both receive $1,000. One sees as a seed, multiplies it into $10,000. The other sees it as barely enough, spends it in fear, and ends up back at zero. The poverty consciousness is a trap because the poverty consciousness does this. If you win, I lose. If you rise, I fall. And if you shine, I'm a shadow. It's a zero-sum game mentality. Poverty consciousness believes the pie is fixed and small. The mindset creates envy, betrayal, jealousy. People sabotage each other because they believe only one can succeed. Sometimes we don't even realize that we're operating in a poverty consciousness. We've been doing it so long that it's just a second nature, because a lot of us will say stuff like, I can't afford that. That's too expensive. I'll never get out of debt. People like me don't get rich. These are the words, and your words are spells, and they write poverty into your script. Abundance consciousness will flip your script, and it will say, how can I afford it? Money, money comes back to me multiplied. I circulate wealth with ease. I am worthy of financial overflow. And these are the things that come into retrospect. These are the things that come into play. Poverty thinkers don't remain neutral. Breeds evil. When people live in poverty consciousness, they become suspicious, controlling, manipulative. Abundance consciousness aligns you with the prosperity flow. It allows you to see possibilities where others see problems. It keeps you in circulation, not stagnation. Now, those of you that have been following us, at the end of our lectures, we always do the circulation. And the reason why we do the circulation, it's a thing that I've learned from Reverend Ike, is that money was designed to move. It's designed to go and to be circulated. And we believe that what you circulate comes right back to its original place, its original owner, its original position. And so when you circulate something, you are putting it in its divine destiny and purpose. It was designed to move. Money is meant to move. Money is designed to flow. Money is not meant to be stagnant. The moment we grip money too tightly, we choke the flow. The moment we hoard from fear, we create spiritual anemia. The circulation value is given. Um, there's certain ways, donating, sowing seeds. Um, the wealthiest people in the world are not those who hoard. They are those who circulate. They circulate products, services, ideas, technologies. They keep energy moving, and the universe circulates money back to them. So ask yourself, you got to ask yourself, why am I blocking circulation? Why am I hoarding instead of giving? Where am I sitting in fear instead of flowing in faith? Circulation is not just money, it's love, it's time, it's energy, it's also creativity. When you circulate love, it comes back. When you circulate wisdom, it comes back. When you circulate joy, it comes back. But if you withhold love, wisdom, joy, you cut off the value and lack begins to show up. So circulation is the key to defending the evil of lack. For lack is nothing but blocked circulation. How many divorces are caused by money fights? You know, money is a big thing. It's the Bible says that money answers all things. That's what the Bible says. The Bible says that money is the answer to all things. I believe it's Ecclesiastes 10 and 18. Money is the answer of all things, uh, which goes to show you the importance of money. Surveys show that finances are one of the top causes of separation in marriages, but it's not money, it's the lack of it. The lack of money creates stress, blame, betrayal. How many families have broken apart over inheritances? Brothers turning on sisters, cousins at war, mothers against children, not because there was much money, but because there was not enough. Lack corrupts love. Why do Why do politicians lie? Fear of losing power, lack of security. Why do nations go to war? Scarcity of resources, oil, land, water. Why does corruption thrive? Lack of integrity, fueled by lack of financial flow. Every form of government corruption is fertilized by lack. Slavery is born from lack. Lack of free labor, lack of ex- explosion, exploitation of human beings. Exploitation of workers today is born from lack. Companies fearing they cannot profit without squeezing their people. Even churches sometimes fall into lack, pressuring people. Um, and when lack is the foundation, evil grows like weeds. But when abundance is the foundation, institutions flourish with justice, fairness, and love. Here's the principle: lack produces fear, and fear produces control. Abundance produces love, and love produces freedom. When you see control, manipulation, corruption, know that lack is at work. When you see generosity, freedom, justice, know that abundance is at work. You know, with the corruption, we see, you know, so much going on. Look at what's going on in Canada right now. So in Canada, all of the flight attendants went on strike because they wanted more money, they wanted better benefits. They were facing a lack, and so they went on strike. And what happened was Air Canada Airlines had to make a decision, and it really messed them up because flights are not able to take off. People are not able to, do the things that they need to do. So it really became a real, um, burden to Air Canada. And so, as you can see, they now have stopped the boycott, and they're giving the um, flight attendants what they need. They're giving them more money. They're giving them the um, benefits and all the things that they're asking for. So a lot of times when there's lack, you're going to see a lot of things transpire. You're going to see a lot of things come into place. You know, I always say that being rich means that you have money. Being wealthy is being able to finance your dreams. Wealth is not selfishness. Wealth is stewardship. Wealth means you are entrusted with circulation. Why do you think money flows to certain people? Because they are channels, because they move it, because they don't sit in fear. Too many people feel guilty for desiring more money. They whisper, maybe I'm not, you know, I'm not supposed to have this money. Um, maybe I'm not one of the few many that deserves this. Money in the hands of the righteous is a tool of liberation. Money in the hands of abundant heart becomes schools, hospitals, and businesses. What happens when money goes into your hands? What happens when money gets into your hands? It's our duty to prosper in life. Your prosperity blesses your family. Your prosperity breaks generational curses. Your prosperity feeds and funds your visions, your communities. It it uplifts nations. So don't apologize for wanting wealth. Stop pretending lack is holy, abundance is holy, circulation is sacred, wealth is responsibility. You know, when you look at relationships, you have to define what is your relationship with money. What is your relationship with money? I want to go over this next chapter, and then I want to get into some other things real quickly. Rewriting your money script. Everything in life is based on a script. If you don't like the way your life is going, you can rewrite it. I'm actually in the process of putting out this book, The Great Rewrite. Those of you, if this is your first time listening, you can go back to that series where we talked about your life is like a movie. You are the director, the actor, the producer. I go over all of that. I show you how to rewrite your life in so many different facets, whether it's dealing with money, relationships. It was a phenomenal series, and I think it's one of our best series yet as far as viewership and so forth and listenership. And so it's definitely a phenomenal thing to be able to do that. So let's just keep that in mind. You know, when we talk about rewriting our script, we talk about changing our consciousness. We talk about rewriting our lives by saying, I am circulation. Money flows through me with ease. Money overflows in every aspect of my life. Having gratitude. Gratitude is a very powerful thing. To have gratitude for your finances. Um, it's not enough to just affirm, but you got to act. You got to create. You got to serve. You got to offer. You got to invest. Circulation is both inner and outer. Imagination plus action equals manifestation. I'll say that again. Imagination plus action equals manifestation. And that's why your imagination is so important. It's extremely important in this day and time. You know, we're already coming to the end of August. Uh, man, we'll be in September, and before you know it, Thanksgiving, Christmas. This year is we're here, and so my thing to you guys are for these next remaining months in the year of 2025. What are we doing? What are we manifesting? What are we working on? You are not chasing money. You are not begging for money. You are not. You are money in motion. You are circulation. You are the channel through which abundance flows. Stop saying I need money and start saying I create wealth. Stop saying I'm broke and start saying I'm becoming. Stop saying I can't afford it and start saying money always returns to me multiplied. It always returns back to you multiplied. And then you got to learn how to speak, how powerful your words are. And when you speak these words into the atmosphere, ladies and gentlemen, things begins to happen because the universe is always listening. And the universe will listen to those words and begin to move on them. You need to start saying stuff like, I am money in circulation. I release all belief in lack. I live in divine overflow. Security is connected to my finances. Security is connected to my finances. My finances are connected to my imagination. Security is connected to my finances, and my finances are connected to my imagination. And what that means, ladies and gentlemen, is everybody wants to be financially secure, but your financial security is always connected to your imagination, which means that you are your own financial security. I multiply everything I touch. Money is my servant, never my master. I am a vessel of circulation. I attract divine opportunity daily. Abundance is my birthright. I give freely and receive freely. The lack of money has no place in my life. I am aligned with infinite supply. Money flows to me easily and consistently. My prosperity blesses others. I am circulation, not stagnation. I embody prosperity. I live in divine surplus. Abundance is the atmosphere of my life. See, when you start operating in removing the lack, because I want to look at that word lack, the lack of money, the lack. It's a very interesting thing here. When you are connecting to the prosperity consciousness and you are moving and operating, what happens here is it gives you a level of mastery that gives you freedom from fear and financial anxiety. Operating in a prosperity consciousness gives you the power to uplift your family. Yes. See, poverty is a consciousness. And in order to shift it, you must elevate. So you go up, you be elevated, you are. And when you elevate the consciousness, you lift your family because your family is connected to you. You increase creativity and magnetism of opportunities. Because see, when we remove the lack of money, what happens is multiple streams of income come in. So now we create streams of income. You begin to deal with the fulfillment of divine stewardship and higher purpose. You have a much stronger confidence in manifesting financial independence. And then you begin to live in circulation. And by living in circulation, you're not able to circulate and move. There was a man named David, a good man at heart, born in a neighborhood where opportunity was scarce and dreams were often put on layaway. David wasn't evil, he wasn't corrupt, but he was broke. Now, David grew up hearing the same song that many of us did. Money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford that. People like us don't get ahead. And those words became bricks that built a prison in his mind. Poverty consciousness wrapped around him like chains. One day, his daughter came home from school in tears in her eyes. She said, "Daddy, they laughed at me because my shoes had holes in them." David's heart broke. He wanted to provide, he wanted to give, but when he opened his wallet, all he saw was lack staring back at him. Empty leather, empty pockets, empty hope. That night he walked the streets and and temptation whispered. A friend approached him with an offer. Quick money, easy hustle, no one will know. David hesitated. He wasn't a criminal, but the lack was pressing on him like a vice. Lack was choking his dignity. Lack was threatening his child's smile. And in that moment, beloved, lack looked more dangerous than crime. So David said yes. He stepped into a game he never wanted to play. He hustled. He lied. He made money the wrong way. But each time he brought it home, guilt gnawed at him. Soon after the law caught up with him, he was arrested. His daughter, now older, visited him behind glass. With tears streaming down her face, she said, "Daddy, I would have rather have had the holes in my shoes than the hole in my heart watching you locked away." And David broke down, and in that moment he realized it wasn't the money that drove him here. It was the lack of money. It wasn't abundance that corrupted him. It was scarcity. In prison, Dave began to read. He studied the mind, metaphysics, circulation. He learned that money was never the true source. He was the source. And when he came out years later, he rebuilt not with hustlers, but with circulation. He started a small business teaching young men that he learned the lack of money is the root to all evil because the presence of vision is the root to all wealth. And from that day forward, David lived not as a victim of lack, but as a channel of abundance. Dave's story is not just his, it's ours. Many of us have stood at the crossroads of lack and temptation. Many of us have felt the squeeze of empty wallets, empty fridges, empty opportunities. But hear me clearly, evil is not born in abundance. Evil is born in lack. The cure is not hustling the wrong way. The cure is circulating the right way. The cure is not chasing scraps. The cure is remembering you are the source. And so when you look at this story and you look at it, everybody can relate to this story. I know you can. I can. We all can. But even in our relating to this story, I want you to know you can rewrite your own story. You don't have to be David. And if you're at the crossroads right now where you're dealing with a lack of money, you can rewrite your story right here and right now today. And you no longer have to walk in lack, because the only lack you and I or anyone listening to this teaching would ever face is the lack in our consciousness, the lack in our mindset. It's the only lack we will ever experience. So it, it's it's really crucial that we understand and look at that in our lives, because everybody wants more money, everybody wants a lot of different things, but we also gotta realize that we have the ability to create multiple sources of income. Money equals God in action. Ladies and gentlemen, money is God in action. When you're circulating money and you're moving money around, that's God in action. God is abundance. God is unlimited supply. So if you're broke, you're out of alignment with God. And we've been talking about alignment here. Alignment is very powerful. It's very powerful. Alignment. When you're in alignment, that's when you're able to receive your supply. But some of you are operating at lack. And so a major change has to take place. It has to, because you can't stay in the position that you're in. It has to take place. There has to be a change here. There has to be. We cannot stay in the same position, circumstance, situation that we've been in. You've been hypnotized by poverty. Poverty taught you to feel good about having nothing, but there's nothing successful about that. People kill for money, not because of money itself, but because of the lack of it. People betray families over inheritances. People go to war over resources. You know what? People say money is evil, but they still go to work every Monday morning praying for payday. If money was so evil, why do you mail your paycheck? Why don't you mail your paycheck to me and I'll suffer with it for you? Money, money, money. Everyone has the ability to make money, to create multiple streams of income. You have that ability. It's just a matter of time, a matter of place, and a matter of position. But everybody has the ability to do it. And those of you who are listening, how do you feel about your money relationship, your money consciousness? How do you feel about where you are financially? How do you feel about it? Just take a moment and reflect on how do you see yourself. Some of you, some of you need to declare, money is circulating in my life. I am the source of my supply. And then you got to learn how to stop bowing to the altar of lack. Stop worshiping poverty. You got to think up, speak up, and match, and watch your money power go. So we got to get to a place where we start removing that word lack away. The lack. When you remove lack, you replace it with streams of income. And the streams of income can be so many different things. So many of us have so many ideas and goals and dreams. You know, a while back I started teaching Millionaires of the Bible series by Catherine Ponder. And if you look in if you look in the back of, if you look in our uh, previous shows, you'll see where I did a lecture on the hidden readers of the Bible. And we went into I believe it was Matthew, but it's the yellow book. But anyway, in that teaching, Jesus tells the disciples to go fishing, and he tells them to go ahead and catch the first fish that they catch, to open the mouth of the fish, and when they open the mouth of the fish, there'd be money there, and they take that money and pay the taxes. But what I wanted to say was that he told them to go fishing, and fish metaphysically means ideas. So in order for you to be rich and successful, you gotta flow. You got to you've got to be able to go fishing, catch the fish, which is your idea, and your idea will finance you. Your idea will bring the money to you. Money chases great ideas. Money chases great ideas. How many of you have great ideas? I need to do a teaching on ideas and how to formulate them and how to put them in the best perspective. But yes, ideas always will lead us to the money. And so when you start looking at lack got to step back on it. And you got to start looking from your mind's eye. The best way to see your mind's eye is with your eyes closed. It's the best way to see is with your eyes closed. To see yourself with money, to see yourself living and enjoying. See yourself at that next level. To see yourself winning in the game of life. But I believe everybody listening to me, once you remove the lack, you'll see abundance coming in. Lack is consciousness because some of you could have money in your hand right now and you'll say it's not enough. You'll say that it's not enough. So the lack of money is more of a consciousness. It's more of a thinking. And so in order to master the game of life, ladies and gentlemen, in order to master the game of life, we got to get into a place where we now move into removing the lack of money to the abundance of money, to more than enough money, to an overflow of money. And when you move into that overflow, my God, the overflow of abundance, the overflow of success, we move into that overflow. So that's why I want to commend all of you who are still working on your projects, who are still putting things into perspective. Because you understand and you know that if it had not been for the Lord that was on my side, where would I be? And you have an understanding for that. So, any of you that want to join us in our circulation and want to leave a donation, there are 4 ways that you can give. It's going to be Cash App, $TOESC. Once again, that's going to be $TOESC. And then if you want to, our guy, we're going to, there's 2 ways you can give, which is going to be Zelle and PayPal. Our Zelle and our PayPal is going to be info, INFO at TOESC.org. It's going to be info at TOESC.org. And then and that's for Zelle and Venmo. Zelle and PayPal. Venmo is going to be Issachar Bey. It's going to be ISSACHARBEY. That's going to be Issachar Bey at gmail.com. Those are the 4 ways that you can give. Ladies and gentlemen, remove the lack out of your life. So when you remove the lack, you remove the evil. Abundance will bring love and prosperity and liberation. But that lack is the root. So if you want to get it from the root, you got to remove it. So I wanted to encourage you today. Hope that you got something out of today. Hope that you learned something. hope that everybody was able to really lock in and get this word, because this is going to be life changing. This is going to be something that takes us into the next dimension and the next place. So I wanted to thank all of you for your support. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button, and then also subscribe. And if you know anybody that needs to hear this, go ahead and hit the share button and share it to 5, 6, 7 of your friends, and let them know about Temple of Enlightenment International Spiritual Center here every week, same place, same time. I want to thank all of you for tuning in, and I want you to know one thing: your destiny is not a matter of chance, but it's a matter of choice. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.